I had to do a job tonight and it went wrong. Set an alarm off. I think I got out of there without anyone seeing me.
What the hell are you doing to me? Hey, where are you going?
Can't go back to prison. I'll be a dead man.
Well, you can't go anywhere, right?
Sorry.
Hang on. Stay here for a second.
Give me
Kane Phillips.
He's got a firearm.
So I'm arresting you on suspicion of armed robbery.
Is the man that you saw last night in that room?
Yep. That's the one right there, number 3.
You sure about that?
Sure as eggs. I bet my life on it.
Dad went and visited Scott in jail a couple of days ago.
You're kidding.
He won't know where he is. He's it.
He didn't tell me where he's been staying, but he did tell me about the last job he pulled.
What is that?
Ah, not much, just that you took the fall.
What you going to tell the cops that?
I'll help you. But you have to do something for me first.
We just wanted to wish you lots and lots of luck for the trial tomorrow, love.
And to make sure that you know you have our full support.
To Kirsty and Kane, lots and lots of love and best wishes for tomorrow.
You know we belong together, you and I forever and ever, no matter where you are, you're my guiding star. Hold me in your arms, don't let me go, I want to stay forever, close I reach day, home and away.
Crown will present an eyewitness who saw the defendant fleeing the scene of the crime. Senior Constable Harper will describe how he caught Mr. Phillips with the money and the weapon in his possession. We will prove Kane Phillips not only had motive, but opportunity to commit this crime. And finally, we will present forensic evidence, which will leave you in no doubt as to the defendant's guilt.
Kane Phillips is a victim of circumstance. A man betrayed and abandoned by his father. An innocent man who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. My learned friend would have you believe that he is a violent and desperate person, but nothing could be further from the truth. Mr. Brennan has said he has both motive and opportunity. We say it was a case of mistaken identity. We say that a man who has survived cancer, a man who is about to become a father, a man who wants to carve out an honest living for himself and his family could not commit armed robbery. We say the only mistake Mr. Phillips made was to place his trust in his unscrupulous father. So I'd like you to remember that old saying. You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family.
Call your first witness, Mr. Brennan.
Hayley Lawson.
I'd come in to collect the morning's banking when Kane asked for some extra shifts at the bar.
Do you know why Mr. Phillips wanted the extra shifts?
Well, I knew he had medical bills to pay and he and his wife were expecting a baby.
So naturally you agreed.
I had to clear it with my partners first, but yes, we all agreed.
So it's well known in the community that Mr. Phillips was having financial difficulties.
Yes.
It seems strange to you that on the night of the burglary, that after asking for more shifts, Mr. Phillips then asked to go home early?
No, he said he wasn't feeling well.
Was there any sign that he was ill earlier in the day?
No.
And that didn't strike you as odd?
No, because...
Thank you. No further questions.
My learned friend has just asked you an interesting question, but unfortunately he didn't give you the opportunity to answer it fully. Could you please tell the court why it didn't strike you as odd that Mr. Phillips wasn't feeling well?
Kane's just finished chemotherapy and he sometimes feels unwell, especially towards the end of the day.
So you and your partners took on the extra shifts out of the goodness of your heart?
No, we all feel sorry for Kane, but none of us had any doubt he'd put in 100%.
So you'd say Mr. Phillips is a trustworthy person?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, all in all, I thought today went pretty well.
Yeah, considering I was scared to death.
Hi, Els, you did great. Hey, everything goes well tomorrow, we are going to make a new start. A whole new beginning.
Well, I'd better go. Mr. Brennan is presenting his star witnesses tomorrow, so I have to find a way of blowing their testimony out of the water.
Well, we know two things for sure. Harper hates my guts and Greg Harvey's lying.
Might make today look like a walk in the park. Senior Constable Harper, when you and your partner, Constable Fitzgerald, stopped Mr. Phillips that night and he explained that his father had just run off, why didn't you immediately search the area?
The cash and the weapon were in the defendant's car. We had no reason to believe his story.
Yet when you returned to the station, Detective Baker did order a search, which suggests quite rightly that he considered my client was telling the truth.
The officers didn't find anything.
Hardly surprising. It was an hour and a half later. He could have been halfway to New Zealand by then.
Call your next witness, Mr. Brennan.
Gregory John Harvey.
He came rushing out of the scrub with a bag in his hand. He ran into the phone booth, made a call. Then he hopped into a blue Skyline station wagon and he drove off.
You gave a description to the police. Then you later identified the defendant in a lineup. Do you still believe Kane Phillips was the man you saw that night?
I do.
Thank you. No further questions.
Mr. Harvey, you said your car broke down near the industrial estate that night.
That's right. I pulled over to check the engine.
Did you ask for any road assistance?
No. I managed to find the problem.
Ah, so we just have to take your word for it that you were in fact there.
Yes.
Perhaps you'd be kind enough to show us where it was you broke down.
Off the road a bit.
No. Exactly where?
50 metres north, on the opposite side of the road to the phone box.
50 metres?
Yes.
Right. Well, here is the phone booth. That would make your car break down about here. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did you know that there was a new moon that night, Mr. Harvey? And there are no street lamps along this stretch of road?
Yes, I was aware of that.
Well, I'm just wondering how you managed to get such a good look at my client on such a dark night and from 50 metres away.
The person that I saw had the same features and build as the defendant.
And could that person have been this man?
No, I don't think so. He's on.
Now take a good look, please, Mr. Harvey. Is it possible you mistook that man for Mr. Phillips?
I suppose, but I...
Let the record show that the witness has just identified